Welcome back to another live trading session for the second day of this week, 10th of March 2026. We are looking to see some trading opportunity later today as the market is currently pretty volatile, that you can see. And here we are looking for some trading opportunity throughout the session. This is an exclusive live from Forex Trading Wizard Academy, and we are looking to see some market really having a trend. We are looking at gold, and also we will be looking at Euro USD. And with this current price action on gold, we can see that it is on a sideways on the lower time frame, but we have seen there is a very interesting movement after this massive drop on the first day of trading week, that you can see with the current price action here in that area. So if that's what we are looking at in this market, I will be doing a complete multiple time frame analysis here with all of you guys to look for a potential entry. And once the analysis is completed, after the analysis also we will be looking at entry later today in this market. So let's wait to see where the market is heading. And before I progress with this analysis, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every day. Okay, so if you like the stream, and beginning with this trading day, and I'm really excited to see that the market is now started to trend again. And first of all, traders, we are looking at gold, and also we will be looking at euro dollar, and also we will be looking at USD JPY, which is also showing an interesting movement along with DXY as well. So beginning with, first of all, with gold, that means around XAUUSD. That we are looking at in this market structure. Now, starting with, first of all, daily market structure, and let's look at the daily price action. I think that the stream is on. The audio was working well. Can you guys let me know if the stream is on? Before we begin, I want to see that it's going on. Okay, so beginning with, first of all, looking at the technical, as we do every single day analysis, and we are looking to analyze this market from 3 angles, right? We will be looking at the technical analysis, and also we'll be looking at the fundamental, and also we'll be looking at the sentiment analysis to see that overall direction in the market. And then we will be looking for entry based on the market structure. So First of all, daily chart on gold. Now what happened yesterday? There has been something really different happen yesterday. Yeah, that you can see. And what we can see that previous daily market structure that you can see here, this is the daily long wick candlestick pattern. I'm good, thank you very much. And with this, if you look at here in this market, this is the daily candlestick pattern. The previous day, the first day of trading week, we saw the market has crossed this high. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Now we saw the market has crossed this high here. And after break of this, that trend line, this is the Friday's candlestick pattern. The market has dropped back below here to this support level. And at the end of the day, there is a buying happen. Now, if you look at the price almost close above that here that you can see, and this is the long wick candle. If you look at here, this is a long wick candlestick pattern here, and that long wick candlestick pattern that you can see in this area here, the market has bounced off this level, which is, if you look at that market structure, hello, was nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. So what's your bias as well on gold? Today also we'll be looking to see that what's happening. So if you look at here, this is the daily candlestick pattern that you can see. There was a massive breakout. That it is what we can see here in that market. And we can see the market in this area here from the daily, as especially on Monday, that means the first day of trading week, was outside an interesting market structure has created, because this is the past weeks that you can see from the daily, and that candlestick pattern that you can see is more than 2 ATR candle, and that more than 2 ATR drop. Now, if you look at that, a market break against the trend with more than 2 ATR and straight breaking back to the order block. If you look at, okay, so this is an order block. Why? Because this is the lowest point of this move and this is the highest point. And the market tested that same levels with more than 2 ATR candlestick pattern and rejected back to the upside. Now, later on Monday, there has been a breakup structure here that you can see. Now that breakup structure of this, and there is a buying happen at the end of the NY session. The market just now today we can see start to push back to the upside. Now the question is this the market is now building its momentum back again to the upside? Let's look at the weekly. Now weekly market structure that you can see, the price is approaching the weekly high. Now this is where things get interesting, because as the market here, if you look at, dropped in the beginning of the week and is going to hit that weekly high, there is a higher chance for another attempt from the seller to break that low. Now this is a higher probability, guys. Keep in mind the trading is all about probability. There's nothing you can say certainly, but it's all about the probability. Now when you look at the probabilistic perspective, as the market is, if you look at this, is a huge bearish fair value gap has formed on the daily. Now with this bearish fair value gap, the market has penetrated back above, and we could see the price to reject back again below in that direction here. So at the moment, if you look at this is a narrow range, there could be another bounce, and then I'm waiting for another wave of drop here, which we can expect in that area for another wave of drop. This is what we can see. And with this movement in this area, we can see quite a few smaller, narrower, doji formation here. And those smaller, narrow dojis from the intraday is basically creating a structure that might initially break above, and we could see that rejection back below. Now the market is on a key level. Key level is very important because this is where you could see the market in the past from this key level that we have seen quite a few strong drop happen. Now it is unexpected or unusual to see that the market straight gone up from this level, which can happen, but the chances that we could see the break and then to come down for at least for retest or retest of this previous support level. Therefore, I will not be strongly bullish here, neither be strongly bearish at the moment until we see the price action confirmation in that area. Now, what's your bias today on gold? I would like to ask you guys with a Q&A. Not Q&A, I'm posting a poll here. What is your bias? So what is your bias on gold today? Bullish or bearish? So this is crucial to give a feedback. And with this movement now, as a short-term trader, what we will be looking at from the technical, we can see the market in a key level, and from that key level we are looking for potential entry if we see that there's a false breakout to the upside. Now this is the technical. Let's look at the fundamental as well as the sentiment. What is sentiment is doing? That the market is in a risk off or risk on sentiment, which is we need to look at. Now at the moment today, what we can see, there is a risk on sentiment. Okay, so if you look at here, what do you see? That there has been deeper pullback on DXY, on euro dollar is trying to push back up, and gold is having sideways, and we might see that deeper move here. So what is that? The current sentiment, which is the risk on sentiment, right? For the short term at least. And we can see on WTI, if you look at the WTI, there was a gap open and significant gap open, and we saw there was some sell off in that area on WTI, right? So that sell off on WTI was a response to a risk on sentiment. Are you getting my point? So if you look at the monthly, you can see that was a massive breakout on WTI, and then with some of the speech came out earlier. So if you look at the news, if you look at here, that is giving some kind of optimism with the traders and investor, giving this market to eventually having some kind of risk on sentiment. So there are some news about the, if you look at that, I I think it's Strait of Hormuz, which is crucial for oil price. Now, if this Strait of Hormuz remain closed, then oil price will potentially, what I think that if it remain closed, there will be serious lack of supply that might bring that market, if you look at, might cross $126. So with that current potential for remaining open, we saw that there was a rejection of the higher price from the oil, which is for the retails, it's a good news that the market eventually has recovered some of this move that gained earlier. Now this is what we can see that with the current sentiment, there has been some kind of stabilization in the risk on. So the traders now becoming a bit of optimistic, which is basically bringing gold to come down for a deeper pullback, and DXY, if you look at, also coming for a deeper pullback, while oil also, that the bubble has created has dropped a little bit now for the time being. So therefore today we are looking at some kind of risk on sentiment on that is might bringing that gold price from this high to deeper pullback. And therefore today we are, from the sentiment perspective, traders, if you are not sure about sentiment, also make sure that you also look at more of, if you are on the premium group, I have a dedicated fundamental course. Fundamental is very important, and it's very few traders understand fundamental. Traders, we can understand the technical, you can understand the support and resistance. The market has in the past dropped to that, bounce back up. When the market drop, anyone, a smaller kid also will understand that, okay, the prices bounce off this level, the chances for the market to bounce off again, and it bounced, everyone understand. But the fundamental is require you to think a little bit, and that's why if you are in the premium group, then all those courses now exclusively available on the premium group, pinned at the top of the group for you to look at, and you can go through all of them, all those fundamental, to see that how the market might be creating its momentum. So therefore, if you look at that from the fundamental perspective here, especially the sentiment, the market moves based on sentiment. Traders, make sure that the market moves based on emotion. Emotion is a big player in trading as well as in the market movement. So that being said, if you look at now with this market movement, that currently the sentiment is essential every session to look at, and that's why I've emphasized you to look at the sentiment in the market. So let's look at here now what is the sentiment currently in this market. Today is the okay, so let's see any key, but learning trailing stop on 5 minute. Please have a look. Yeah, this is what we are looking to see, some of the move to happen. Let's wait to see where the market is heading. And if you look at in this area here, okay, so therefore we analyze the fundamental, we analyze the sentiment as well as the technical. Now at the moment what we are looking at this market, for this price to eventually, earlier today we saw that break and the market has reached that key level of resistance. Of that key level resistance, the market may now drop down for this deeper pullback in this area. So that is what we're expecting, the market to eventually drop down further back below here in that area. So we're looking to see here how the market now in this lower time frame, as if you look at, there is a 1 hour candle close with a big red pin bar. Now that pin bar might bring that market well below here, and we might see the price to eventually, what I think, that coming back below to this support level. And if you look at the daily price action here, and this is the daily support, gold 4-hour is ranging, and I think neutral today. Okay, so yeah, if it is ranging, is still we can look at some of the move can happen. If you look at earlier today, there was an initial bounce, right? And as a short-term trader, we are using the technical as well as the sentiment, right? So the sentiment that you can see is risk on. So with the risk on sentiment, usually gold remain bearish or in a pullback. Okay, so now as with the upcoming, if you look at the current price action, okay, so there is a chance for the market to eventually cross that low here in that area. So from the sentiment as well as technical, we could see that the XAUUSD may eventually break that low here in that area. So we will be looking at possible selling opportunity here in this market. We'll be looking to see where the market is heading in that area. So that being said, we can see there is a from this high here, the market start to pull back now. This lower time frame market structure on gold looks to me here for the short term bearish, and we will be looking at this market to eventually fill some of this imbalance. So lower time frame resistance here is that you can see 5175 or above this level can be a good area that we can look for short-term selling opportunity here in this market. Now this zone that you can see, now we are on very lower time frame for any kind of entry. This zone you can see series of lower high liquidity sweep. From that level the market may potentially break that low here. Okay, let's look at here in that area to see. We will be looking at for the market to break this trend line and then to reverse again back below here in that area. Okay, so this is the trend line that you can see of this trend line, and we would like to see now the market to eventually break this trend line to the upside or retesting, and then we can look for short-term selling opportunity back below in this support level here. It may even continue to drop, and we can look for around 200 pip move at least for this potential downside, and that's why we are looking at that entry. All right, so with that being said here, as the market is maintaining the downtrend, you could see the price to eventually coming for this downside back below here in that area. And we are looking to see how the market is evolving here. The market trend is down, and you will be now waiting for a pullback. So this is our plan here. Simple plan, guys. Trading is simple. Lower time frame trading, you need a very simple trading plan, because when you are trading on the lower time frame, it's very difficult to have a complex strategy because your execution time will be very low. So simple plan is the best way. We will be looking for this now pull back to the upside. The market is dropping, but when it's strongly dropping, better to wait for the market to show up and to give a possible potential for an entry. All right, so patience is key, and we are looking at in that area for this patient move to happen in the market. And also, if you look at the calendar, is there any high impact news coming later today? So you see that, which is tomorrow, we'll be also trading CPI, another big impact, and then later today, after tomorrow as well, there will be quite a few high impact. Do you first look at fundamentals or tactical or sentiment? And then how do you scale down from higher time frame to 1 minute? Thanks for that. Okay, so you can see the market is now on this pullback to the upside here in that area. And with this pullback to the upside, giving is the probability that the market to retest and then to return again back below here in that area. Okay, so here is the price tested, expecting that the market now to break below. So if it goes up a little higher and testing this trend line, this is what we are looking at for potential selling opportunity here in this market. All right, looking at, have you taken it? Not yet, not yet. Earlier we had one trade during the London session. Also, I have shared the detailed trade in the premium group. It's a very short trade, very small trade, but we closed in profit and waiting for the next one to come in. So do you think first look at the fundamental, technical, or sentiment? So firstly, I look at the technical because this is where the chart and everything. Then I look at the sentiment. The fundamental, usually it comes down to, if you look at that, fundamental is more often that it's a long-term picture, right? For example, in any instrument, interest rate, other decision. But the technical and sentiment are two key factors, especially for our as a short-term trader. Now, sentiment is very important because the market is driven by emotion, right? If any high impact news coming, anything happening, it straight directly impact or affect the trading decision from the traders, right? Now, for example, if you look at the WTI price earlier, reached almost over $100, right? And then it straight had a big drop. Now it's now pushing back again. So this, for example, some of the news that you can see that has a direct sentimental impact with the trading decision from the traders. So if you look at this is a very important news here that you can see. If you look at this Strait of Hormuz, this is a driving force for many of the trading decision will come, because if you see that if this Strait of Hormuz remain closed, then there will be a huge economic pressure on the investor, right? Because the oil price will go up, and if the oil price go too high, then there is a lot of risk, and that where the investors will think about trading many of the instruments. But we can see that over the yesterday's news over the weekend, and some of the reassurance came that this is gonna remain open, and I think that's gonna happen. So that's where the WTI price dropped, and now this some of the sentiment that I definitely need to look at before you open any position, either in gold or in euro dollar, in any instrument, because all are interrelated currency pair. So if you look at now gold, also the price will determine with these uncertain factors that might directly driving the market. So that's why it is so essential as a trader to look at the sentiment, also the technical, right? So now that being said, if you look at here, now today also you looked at in the beginning of the trading session, the technical that we are seeing the market is on the key level of resistance. And we can see that now from the technical also there is a downtrend in this market. Now with the downtrend, we are looking at this market to eventually break that low back below here in that market. So this is where you see that the market is slowly breaking back below here in that area. Now here is the, if you look at the lower time frame, this is the 1 minute bearish engulfer is being formed, and with that bearish engulfer that you can see the market might now eventually break below. So here I will be looking at, as we discussed, that you want to see the market retesting this previous support down resistance here, and with that previous support down resistance, so you could see the market to break that level back below. Again, thank you very much. So what's your bias? I also have I posted a poll here to see. We see that bullish 56%, bearish 44%, and if you guys, everyone, press that poll button, will be helpful to see that actually how that might have play out. As you can see, most of the time poll results came out to be very accurate. So the market is now approaching that trend line that you're discussing on this lower time frame trend line that might retest and then potentially to reject back again here in that area. We're looking at for this market to show up potential price action confirmation in this area. Thanks for joining here. And also a very, very important day for trading as with the second week of the current situation. We can see the market is also showing those reflection, and with that reflection as a trader also we have to be always keep eye for the key event that coming. How many of you keep eye on the event? And it is essential, because that's where you'll see that actually how the market structure playing out based on the sentiment as well as the technical that you can see in the market. Okay, so here is, if you look at the market from this support level here, created that move, and now it's breaking out of this level, and with this break out of this level, they're expecting the market to here to come down back below. So you see there is a long wick candle, and off that long wick candle, they're waiting for the market to eventually come back down here to this support level. Here's the support. All right, yes, we are approaching that level here, and if we see stronger rejection from this trend line, you will be looking at that entry in this market. Trend line is here, and by the way, getting ready for an entry. I was waiting for a false breakout, and you can see the market is in fact trying to fill that zone. This is a higher imbalance in this market. Alright, so here music is loud. Thank you. Just have a little bit of cheering up. Have you taken a trade? Not yet. We are looking at the first trade that we have taken and looking for the potential next entry. Now, the next entry you want to take in the direction. So this is if you look at, this is a very interesting consolidation. The market is moving in a sideway, but with a series of lower high and lower low. So in those kind of structure, usually eventually we could see that break below, because the market is not getting enough very stronger reaction to the upside. Usually if it wants to continue to trend, we could see that this trend is continuing, because there has been multiple rejection. So that means that the market is potentially to come down for a deeper correction, and that's what we most likely to see here in that market. All right, so let's go ahead looking at here in that area. Okay, now it crossed this key zone here. This is what we can look for, we can consider for a potential setup here. And with of course with full risk management here. Let's look at first of all the higher time frame. From the 4-hour chart that you can see the market created this. I would like to delete all those lines before we look for an entry. This is a sideways market, guys, and absolutely we have to take a very potentially less what I would say that smaller reward. There is no other, because the market is not in a very strong trend, and as the price is reaching that high here from this, so you have to take that smaller move for this, for the market to, so that you can have a higher probability setup in this market, especially when the market trend in a sideways. Okay, now it's still approaching back to the upside here. It's moving here back to the upside, and you can see the market is reaching that level. Okay, so it reached that this session's high, and from the 4-hour that you can see the market is reaching that level, and I'm waiting for it to reach as high as possible before we look for that entry. And also we'll be discussing our previous session's trade as well in the similar way. We have opened from a key level so that we can see a potential rejection of the higher price for us to be able to look for that entry. I think slowly the sellers trying to push that market below, and I think that the volume is okay, not only in the market but also in the music. It's not getting too high. Now if you look at, this is a trend line in this area here, and with this trend line the market has broken the trend line, and I'll be considering potentially short-term move. Let's first wait to see that how far it's gonna cross that up. because there's a breakup trend line here, the market might now trade in this zone here, and it didn't retest this trend line yet. If you look at here, when there is a breakup trend line, if it wants to change the trend, it should be retesting the trend line properly so that it doesn't leave any imbalance. Because especially if it leave a bigger imbalance, that means higher fair value gap, we might see that the market coming back very shortly after to fill that imbalance. This is how the market usually moves. So one of I'd say that the best way to trade the market is to look for the imbalance where the market has become overextended in which direction. So once you see the market has overextended in any direction, it's much more easier for you to look at the position based on that. So if you look at here, you can see the market has created this more pullback, and it's now showing up that pattern here in that area. So the price is approaching that key level, and which is an important resistance line here. And with this resistance, as the market is maintaining this uptrend here, that we are looking for this price action to go up and potentially to hit that zone here in that area. So until we see the sign of clear rejection and starting a downtrend, we are here looking at that entry and observing the price action for that move. Now we had also, if you look at the previous session, had open in that area an entry, and in the similar way, the market has shown that if you look at the 4 hour, the previous session, when this candle has closed, was here. That's where the entry was. With the first move, we have taken the trade. Now the key here is to look at when the market got overextended, and then to enter based on the price action. So the market, for each entry, it has to have few confluences and also the reason for the trade. Just change the direction. Yeah, so as long as it's changing the direction, we are waiting on this one, right? So if you look at, it might straight go back again to the resistance line, and if it is going back to 5191, that's another key level that you can look for an entry. And I think it reached a lot now from the 1 hour perspective. And the higher that it will go in that direction, the better to look for an entry. So because we want to sell a market that is overbought, right? So once it becomes an overextended in one direction, it become an overbought market that you can look for that entry. we have 30 minutes for the session to open, and session opening is also important to look at, as now it is pushing back up. We are waiting for that entry in the market. Okay, it's still showing upside here, and we are waiting for the market to potentially cross this high and then to give us a possible downtrend in this area here. And once we see the trend confirmation, only in the situation we will be looking at entry. Okay, so it's consolidating here. We might be able to find an important point here. All right, so here is some kind of sideways market movement that you can see. And with the current movement that you can see, the market is really strongly driven by the sentiment here. And with this sentiment, we can see there is another wave of move back to the upside here in this market. And until we see that it's pushing back up, we are looking for mainly observing the market structure here. Cool. That's interesting. We see some upside bias here in that market. Could it still be consolidating? Yes. Still, in this area, if you look at, again, deleting the lines, I do frequently delete the lines. Now, if you look at this 4-hour candle, it has 1 hour, almost 1.5 an hour remaining. And this candlestick pattern that you can see, I don't think it's still going to go straight bounce to create a bullish candlestick pattern unless something happen fundamentally or sentimentally. So if you look at also now, the market is more often now driven by news. Also, you need to keep in mind, guys. Now, let's say technically in a regular time, it's from this 4-hour resistance, we should be able to see another potential pullback here. However, if something suddenly happens, it might just spike back to the upside without following any technical aspects. So you need to prepare for that. Now, at the moment, what you can see in this area here, if you look at that, where in this zone here, the market might move a little sideways and potentially could come back for a deeper pullback. Because if you look at this, you see this is a big bull candle followed by rejection. Market usually this kind of setup, as see this move here in the past from this level. This is the Asian Open yesterday, and back to back 4 hours the market created this low, and now from this zone the market has reached that same high, right? So which is the price level, if you look at here, is at 5192, and the market has extended above this 5192, now getting the rejection. So the chances that this price may remain in that zone before it creates another move similar to this one. Now, normally the market do that before it preparing for a bigger move. So it might remain here or extend little bit further, and then could come back for like that a bigger move, either to this or even lower, before it bounce back to the upside. This is the usual movement in the market. However, as I mentioned earlier, the market is more driven by the quite a few high impact news that the market may eventually could spike up in that direction. So now looking at here, going back to the moment in this area, because the market is approaching this intraday resistance line here, not looking at any kind of buying here, rather we will be looking for short-term entry for this possible down move here in that area. Though it is still in an uptrend, there might be some further move, but we will be looking for that possible rejection back below here in that market. Now, it is important that we always keep our mind open in any direction if the market really change its entire directional bias. Could be still consolidating up. So this is what you can see. I would like to keep eye here to see how the market react to that level before you look for any entry. Okay, so you can see of this support, the market is carrying the rejection. Now, here as this candlestick pattern trying to cross this sessions high, we are going to a level where we might see that there might be a potential move here with some of the breaking news that might be seeing the market might getting a little bit of volatile here. So what do you see, guys? Share some of your current affairs. And could it be still consolidating? Okay. So do you see there is some kind of we can see some kind of a speed up in gold price, and we got some, I think, some of the breaking news that the war might intensify, so that might bringing that gold price back up here. What's your bias on that? Let's look at here. We see the 47 bought with 57 bullish. Well done, guys. The market is reflecting to that. So if you look at here, I'm ending that pool and I'm starting another pool. Now we see the gold start to suddenly breaking out. Suddenly gold start to break out. What is your thought on that? What is your opinion on XAUUSD sudden move? So I have posted another poll. What do you think? I have shared that poll here. What is your current sudden? We can see suddenly gold started to break out. So what's your thought on that? Current breaking news, or technically it is bullish? Inside info, thank you very much. Anyone has a different opinion? What could be this move on gold here that you can see, and share your thought and opinion with that, because because technically we saw that there was a potential for down, and we can see suddenly the market is now trying to push that previous resistance level. Now if the fundamental becomes so intense, that means the sentiment become very aggressive, we might see that gold, if you look at the daily candlestick pattern, could break out. And there is a, if you look at here, there's a daily fair value gap, and that daily fair value gap is a very important consideration here, because there's a lot of order in that area, guys. This is where the smart money trade in that way. There's a lot of order, and from that zone where there's a lot of order, we might see the market to cross that and continue to rise here back above in that area. So if the market cross that high based on the current fundamental, we might see that and a stronger breakout can happen. But at the moment, we can see so far this move that you can see, this is one single breakout here, and that is going to that level here, to this key area. with a support level, it's getting back above here. A little louder music. And off this level here, if you look at from this resistance line, chances that the market will be here back further below. And do you think it's gonna have rejection of this? And session open coming. This is the 1 hour price action that we might see with the session open. And in the meantime, traders, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so. Make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done yet, press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every day. Here is the support level. The market is slowly building its momentum back here above, and that might be creating potentially an upside bias here. And waiting to see how the market react to that level here in this area. With from this high here, slowly breaking that below in that area. And I think we might be able to find possible reaction back below now. The last few minutes is important because this with this 5 minutes candle close in this area here, from this high, the market is trying to eventually if you look at from here, if the market breaks below here, which is a possibility, that's what we want to take that move. And we might be able to find an entry here. I'm preparing for a possible entry setup in this area on gold, and with this movement that looking for the market to, if you look at this is a trend line here, and we might be entered by market. 5 minutes to go for the 1 hour candle to close. I'm not going to consider this market to straight going back to the upside. Instead, we might see some sideway market potentially coming for this so we'll be considering here selling opportunity, and so with this 1 hour candle close, we'll be considering for short-term selling possibility here in that area on XAUUSD, and with 1 hour candle close, looking for a possible short-term downside, and we'll keep our stop loss well above this level for any, if you look at here in this area, for any kind of unusual move, and we will be targeting below here. We can take bigger profit target, but at the moment we can see the market is really highly volatile, so we might see that short-term spike here, and with the 1 hour candle close, looking for this market to give us a possible a move back below here in that market. So I'm going to open a sell of this level, stop loss placing above this high with a tight stop loss with risk management 5199.44, and TP target setting back below here at 5168. This is the second trade for the today. with the 1 hour candle close. Sudden breakout. And still sudden breakout. The very fast move, guys. This is where the market eventually broken back to the upside. We have to look at for, I'm out with the trade, so looking to see where it's trying to break. It might reach the next level of resistance. So I'm minus with the 1% and looking for the next one. So there might be, if you look at here in that area, this is potentially due to the current, due to the breaking news. And now it extended back above here. So from that extension, it's a very unusual move. I think it's an entirely a false breakout, and the chances for the market to revisit that level is higher. We might see the price to retest this support level. So look like this is a false breakout, and if it is a false breakout, we might see the market to eventually fall back down to the previous level of support. Okay, how this zone is currently creating the market structure. It's all above this key level, and so here's the market. We see there is a breakout, and we'll see that what actually the market is trying to create a new higher high of this support as it reach that key level here in that area. And okay, so here with the current trend, we'll see that if this market trend continues, if you look at the daily, just has crossed the daily high, and from the weekly also it reached new weekly high. So the market is at the weekly resistance line. Before it potentially for retest, see that how far it goes up, and I will not be looking too long from very high price here at the moment. And if it reverse back to the support, this is what looking to see potential entry in this market. if it started a new trend here, okay, there's a big 50 minutes candle closed, and that has brought the market above this key level. See, there is an overextension back to the upside, and the market reach very important key level here. Now from this we might see a continuation or rejection again to the support level. Looking at current trend is important to see where the market is going. I think there is a, I'm looking to see if the market is consolidating here and then coming to the daily support level. Will you take? Yes. In my opinion, it may extend up. Okay, so the market is reaching a fair value gap. Okay, so the current, if you look at the current market sentiment, there has been with the current, some of the upcoming event, we might see that it's directly influencing the gold price here, guys. So it's overextended back to the upside, but I wouldn't consider it is still a very strong buy, because there is a potential for a deeper pullback. Though it is, if you look at here, it's here moving with this uptrend here, but it's facing a very strong resistance of this level, and the best buy would be from the deep. If the market drop to the dip, and there's a stronger breakout here. So it just penetrated back the resistance line. So looking at this lower time frame in this area, the market has reached a new level of resistance here in that area, and where okay, so it reached a very here in that area, this looking to see, and still I'm not still looking to go long, as the market is in this key level. So if you look at the intraday perspective here, the market structure here is Now with a long week candlestick pattern, this is a pretty long week here, and I think with the current intraday 4-hour candlestick pattern reached in this, the market is in a zone where there is a, this is above the resistance line, and from that zone it's a fair value gap. It is less likely that the market to go up eventually to create a new all-time high, because the price is on the weekly resistance line that you can see here in that area. So we'll see that if the market create that price action confirmation here, you will be looking at in that area for a potential trading opportunity in this zone. So okay, so there is a 5-minute candle close, and so this is a very unusual breakout that you can see in the market, and is mostly, we could see that there might be some the market might go for this move back to the upside. Let's see that how far it goes, and I'm still not looking for any buying opportunity here in that area. Okay, so we can see the market is here in that area having that trend, and with this trend the market may continue to, what I think, if you look at here, it reached that key level, and off this key level it got the rejection back below, and with that rejection we might see the market to come back below here in that area. So we'll be looking to see what the market is going as we are on the second day of the trading week, and looking for some trade coming later today with this current let's see here. The market is getting that rejection of this level now from that zone. It's getting rejection of this now. Okay, so we are seeing some kind of, if you look at from this level, there is a pullback, and we'll be waiting for this deeper pullback before we look for that entry. And we are progressing towards the another trading week. In this area, we will be looking to see the market to drop down for a pullback, and once the price has done enough pullback, we will be looking at that entry opportunity in this market. And so looking some kind of what's that here? From this support level, the market is slowly building its momentum here. And as the market is approaching that level, we are looking for the price action to show up. And if you look at from this zone, it's breaking that low. And what I think, if you look at the daily market structure here, the price action has reached that high. And but I think it was an entirely potentially false breakout. The chances for the market to break below here in that area. We'll be looking for later further entry opportunity. At this point, if you look at here, okay, so here is the market. If we look at from this support level, we saw that move pullback and expecting another move back to the upside here in that market. So that being said, Hello traders. When is the war started? Gold crashed, then Trump talk about war and it goes up. So yeah, this is what we see the market. If you look at from this support level here, it created this a fake out, and the market now could eventually drop down back below here in that area. So with this current price action that you can see, it's breaking back below again of this support level here, and looking for the market to eventually, but I think that there is a higher chance for the price to come back below to the support level, and then it might be ready for another entry. As we are looking at traders coming tomorrow, you'll see that CPI coming, and with the CPI we'll be looking for further trading opportunity later today. We had a session and looking for to enter some more trading later today, and I hope that you enjoyed this session. There a little bit of disruption, but we are looking for the next session coming up. What makes you think it could be fake out? Because if you look at the 4-hour candlestick pattern, that you can see the market slowly trying to break below, and there is a, if you look at this, there is a key level of resistance in that area, and that key level of resistance that you can see here, that the market might break below here. So we'll see that it may go up a lot to this. All right, so it might go back to this liquidity zone, but I'm looking to observe here for further entry later today. So that being said, thanks for joining here, and I'll see you again very soon with any new trade update later today. We'll see in the next session for trading again in the live market.